The front desk erupted in laughter as Lila Carter entered, dust clinging to her shoes, calluses marking her hands, and a single folded piece of paper held tightly in her grasp. The receptionist sighed dramatically and replied, "We are not looking." They were janitors. Yet merely 10 feet away, concealed behind tinted glass, the CEO remained motionless. What he beheld next in that unfortunate girl's hand would reverberate throughout the company and alter one life and one legacy eternally. Before we dive in, please give this video a thumbs up and let us know your location in the comments. Your support enables us to share more impactful narratives. Let us commence. Lila Carter lingered just beyond the sliding glass doors, her breath hitching in her throat as the frigid air from the lobby seeped into her well-loved denim jacket. The reception area sparkled with gleaming marble floors, an elegant crystal chandelier, and chic furniture that exuded luxury. She had never encountered anything quite like it, neither in her town nor throughout her entire life. Yet, what she grasped in her hand was of utmost significance. A crumpled sketch, creased and worn, edges frayed, hues dulled, yet its essence remains unbroken. In the lobby, Simone Blake, the head receptionist, was positioned with an air of authority, clad entirely in sleek black designer attire, her long red nails rhythmically tapping against her desk in a display of impatience. She hardly glanced up when Lila moved closer. Indeed, there was a palpable sense of tedium and critique in Simone's voice. "I came across the design internship online. I wish to submit my application. Presenting my creation." Lila's voice quivered, yet her hand remained steady as she offered the paper. Simone cast a fleeting look, just a fleeting look, before bursting into a brief, crisp laugh. It was a laugh that carried no hint of joy. It was crafted with the intention to slice through flesh. "Are you serious right now?" Simone let out a derisive laugh. "We are not seeking street artists at this time. This is a Fortune 500 company, not a casual art exhibition." Lila's eyes fluttered open. The lobby hung in a heavy silence, broken only by the soft chuckles of the receptionist. 2 junior assistants in the room shared knowing looks, their lips curling into smirks. "I put in a lot of effort," Lila started. "I'm certain you did, Simone." Interrupted, her tone dripping with sarcasm. "Kindly move aside now, you are delaying genuine candidates." Behind a shadowy glass barrier, concealed from sight, Alexander Roth, the head of Roth & Maven Designs, halted in his tracks. As he strolled along the secluded corridor that provided a view of the reception area, he caught sight of Simone's laughter, echoing through the space. Her tone held a quality that compelled him to pause. His eyes moved to the girl, observing her stance, her hands, the paper she clutched. He advanced a step nearer to the glass, and then he beheld it. The edge of the folded paper had lifted slightly, revealing a tantalizing glimpse of a hand-drawn, architectural design in the corner. Lines so exact, so graceful, they brought to mind the illustrations he had admired from masters of the craft. His heart raced. He activated the device nestled in his ear. "Security, please retrieve the lobby camera footage and forward it to my office. Also, investigate the identity of that girl." At her desk, Lila remained motionless, a wave of embarrassment surging within her. She pivoted gradually, her gaze intense yet devoid of tears. She would step out with her drawing, carrying her confidence. She had always understood that the world would not readily welcome her in. Yet what she remained unaware of was this: the door was already ajar. A potent force lingered on the other side, ready to reveal itself. In that very moment, Alexander Roth was making his way to the elevator. Lila stepped outside into the crisp, city air, holding her sketch tightly, as if it were the final remnant of her pride. The receptionist's words reverberated in her mind with each step she descended the marble stairs. Individuals moved past her, oblivious to her presence. Automobiles blared their horns. Cars darted by with haste. Yet Lila sensed an overwhelming sense of invisibility. The paper in her hands trembled more than just from the breeze. It was the sharp pain of being turned away, coupled with the embarrassment of putting in too much effort in a realm that felt designed to exclude her. She had journeyed 2 miles just to arrive here. She had invested her final few dollars into printing her portfolio in vibrant color. At this moment, she found herself with nothing to display for her efforts. Unbeknownst to her, within the confines of the building she had just exited, a transformation was already underway. Alexander Roth leaned forward in his chair, his gaze fixed on the large monitor before him, which now showcased a still image from the security footage. He pressed play. There she stood, a mix of anxiety and anticipation, taking a step forward with her carefully folded design in hand. And there was Simone, her laughter ringing out, a playful mockery in her voice as she tossed the paper aside as if it were nothing more than refuse. Alexander's jaw clenched. He had toiled tirelessly to establish a company founded on originality and creativity, refusing to allow arrogance to taint its entrance. Yet, that was not what captivated his focus. It was the drawing. He pressed a button. Almost immediately, his assistant, Jordan Vega, stepped into the office, notepad ready. "Locate her," Alexander commanded, his gaze fixed on the screen. "Identify whom, sir? The young woman at the reception? The one holding the drawing. I need her in my office by tomorrow morning. I am indifferent to the time it requires or the expenses involved." Jordan paused, uncertain if he had truly caught what was said. "Got it. Should I arrange a—" "Negative." Alexander interrupted him. "Your comprehension is lacking. That girl created something I haven't encountered in ages. Unrefined skill, untrained, unrestrained. I'm curious to discover what other thoughts she holds within that mind of hers." Meanwhile, Lila perched on a bench at the bus stop, her head leaning against the frigid metal pole. She shut her eyes and revisited the moment once more. Simone's laughter was enchanting, the expression in the other employee's gaze. She fought with every ounce of her being to hold back the tears in that moment. She had spent much of her life unnoticed, but today she felt even more diminished than ever before. A notification chimed on her battered phone. A note. Unidentified. Caller. "Hello, this is Jordan Vega representing Roth and Maven. Mr. Roth is eager to meet with you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. He laid eyes on your sketch. Arrangements for transportation will be made." Lila gazed intently at the screen, her heart pounding in her chest. She went over the message 3 times, certain it must be an error or some sort of malicious joke. Yet, it was genuine. Her hands started to shake. The wind surged once more, teasing the corners of her carefully folded design as if it yearned to soar into the sky. Her eyes brimmed with tears, not from sorrow this time, but from sheer disbelief. As the world averted its gaze, a solitary figure remained observant, a person of significance, a person who had observed what others had overlooked. And that someone had just opened a door that no one like her was ever meant to cross. What lay beyond would transform her irrevocably, sending tremors through the very core of the organization. Lila Carter was far more than a girl from humble beginnings, with merely a drawing in hand. She was a tempest, stillness, overlooked, yet to be listened to. The following morning, Lila found herself once more before the imposing glass structure. Yet there was an unmistakable shift in the atmosphere. Her shoes remained scuffed, the stains on her jacket remained unchanged, yet her heart pulsed with an unfamiliar rhythm as she stepped into a space like this for the first time. Potential. The immaculate black SUV that arrived to collect her was accompanied by a driver who welcomed her with utmost respect. As she entered the lobby, the receptionist from the previous day looked up and became momentarily still. Simone's smile wavered. The girl who had once been the target of mockery now stood with newfound confidence, clutching the same sketch, but this time adorned with an official visitor badge pinned to her collar. 2 security officers stood beside her, one diligently pressing the elevator button, while the other guided her with a composed demeanor. Simone parted her lips, yet silence enveloped her. Lila pressed forward, her gaze fixed ahead. As the elevator ascended, a wave of anxiety washed over her. She found herself at a loss for words. No refined resume, no citations, no formal qualifications. Her only possession was her craft and the peculiar, astonishing message that had come through on her phone. It was utterly perplexing. What could prompt the CEO of a leading design firm in the nation to seek a meeting with her? The elevator emitted a soft chime. The doors swung wide, revealing a scene that seemed plucked straight from the pages of a glossy publication. Contemporary furnishings, expansive windows that stretch from the floor to the ceiling. The artwork was so striking that it caused Lila to stop in her tracks. Jordan Vega, impeccably dressed in a grey suit, extended a warm handshake as he greeted her. "Miss Carter, he is waiting for you." Lila trailed behind Jordan into a spacious office, where Alexander Roth was positioned next to an imposing desk, her sketch spread out on the gleaming surface. He raised his gaze as she walked in, his face a mask of inscrutable intensity. "Did you create this?" he inquired. Lila hesitated, contemplating whether to voice her thoughts. "You didn't follow this through. Original. Everything is unique." "Text, I promise," she whispered gently. "Each sentence, each form. My notebook holds even more ideas." Alexander extended his hand toward a folder. "Please take a seat." She did, yet she remained unconvinced that this was truly happening. "I have encountered portfolios from graduates of prestigious design institutions who failed to convey movement and perspective as effectively as you did in this corner." He brushed the sketch lightly with his fingertips. "Where did you acquire such remarkable drawing skills?" Lila paused, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. "Nowhere at all. I simply observed structures, examined their contours in the light, attempted to capture their essence, not merely their appearance." That response left him utterly speechless. What were their emotions? She gave a slight nod. "I aim to capture the essence of their significance to individuals. Not merely the walls, but the narratives woven within them." Alexander, reclined in his chair, he remained silent for what felt like an eternity. He opened a drawer and smoothly slid a contract across the desk. "This is not a conversation for questioning. This is a proposal, a completely compensated mentorship, entry to our creative space, our collective. If you desire it, it belongs to you." Today, Lila gazed intently at the sheet of paper. Her hand quivered as she extended it forward, not to endorse but to sense if it was truly genuine. "However, I did not attend college. I lack formal qualifications." He remarked that you possess something superior. Perspective. Emotion surged within her, yet she fought to keep it at bay. This was reality. This was the moment that changed the course of her entire life. Downstairs, Simone looked up at the elevator, display oblivious to the fact that her teasing had just sparked the beginning of a legend. What about Lila? She had finally stepped into the light. She stepped into an unforeseen future, one that had caught everyone off guard. The office lights bathed Lila's quivering fingers in a warm golden hue as she clutched the signed contract tightly. The significance lay not in the paper itself, but in the meaning it conveyed. A door that was never intended to swing open for someone of her kind. Alexander Roth stood across the desk, observing her with an intensity of admiration that was entirely new to her experience. It was not compassion, it was not an act of benevolence, it was admiration. Authentic, deserved, and profoundly experienced. He tapped his phone lightly and spoke, his gaze fixed elsewhere. "Jordan, please make sure Studio B is available for the afternoon. I would like her to meet the design team. Allow them to witness the essence of true artistry." Lila felt a constriction in her throat. She trailed behind Jordan along the corridor, her steps delicate yet wavering. Her thoughts surged with uncertainty, anxiety, and a singular question resonating more intensely than the rest. What if I fall short? Studio B was a transparent haven, brimming with drafting tables, digital boards, and designers immersed in their creative pursuits. All eyes were drawn to Jordan as he entered, Lila gracefully accompanying him. Many appeared perplexed, some intriguing. A woman smirked, her gaze drifting to Lila's second-hand attire. "This is Lila Carter," Jordan declared. "She is collaborating closely with Mr. Roth. Today she is observing closely. She starts her journey tomorrow." Soft murmurs flowed through the air. Several mouths fell open in astonishment. A young designer named Theo took a step forward and reached out his hand. "Did you create the redesign of the Roth spiral? I spotted it resting on the CEO's desk. Was that you?" Lila nodded, taken aback. Indeed, it was merely a preliminary outline. Theo gave a slight shake of his head. It was exceptional. Their resonance surpassed even the receptionist's laughter from yesterday. For the first time, she felt a genuine sense of belonging. She sensed a profound sense of purpose, a person with something valuable to contribute. Jordan presented her with a company badge and a sketch pad, featuring the Roth and Maven logo, elegantly embossed in gold. "Let us begin," he stated. The following hours slipped by in a haze. Lila watched intently, posed inquiries, and eventually found herself invited to share her thoughts. She paused briefly before approaching the digital board, ready to refine a draft that had posed challenges for everyone involved. In mere moments, her creation left everyone in awe. Clear, imaginative, unique. Once more, Alexander observed from behind the glass wall, his arms crossed in contemplation. He remained expressionless. He immersed himself in study, meticulously calculating. He had not erred. He had discovered a potential companion for the journey ahead. Meanwhile, downstairs, Simone looked up from her desk to observe a group of executives passing by, engaged in conversation about a new mentee who had caught the board's attention. Her stomach twisted at the sound of the name Lila Carter, her complexion drained of color. She opened the security footage from the previous day, her expression growing tense as she replayed the moment of her own laughter. Unbeknownst to her, the footage had already been forwarded to HR. Unbeknownst to her, Alexander Roth had taken the liberty of jotting down a note in her file. Little did she realize that at times, the hubris displayed at the front desk could transform into a significant liability for the company. Lila lingered in Studio B, the silence enveloping her as the last of the footsteps faded away. She gazed intently at her new badge. She caressed the contours with her fingertips, as if it were a cherished relic. She recalled each instance when someone had insisted she would never succeed. She recalled the yearning, the dismissals, the chuckles from those who had never laid eyes on her creations. And now she had entered, not through the back door, but through the front, by virtue of her merit and talent. The CEO had not only viewed her sketch, he had truly noticed her. As a result, the girl they once ridiculed would now be the architect of the future they would all eventually navigate. She gazed at the empty canvas before her, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. With a steady breath, she started to create.